1987 was one of the most explosive years in hard rock history. The charts were packed with legends at their peak, but for every smash hit that dominated MTV, there were breathtaking songs left completely in the shadows. These are 12 rock songs from 1987 you forgot were awesome. Number 12, Still of the Night by Whitesnake. The self-titled Whitesnake album peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 200 in 1987, spending more weeks in the top 5 than almost any other record that year. As the lead single, the song received heavy MTV rotation, yet it stalled at number 79 on the Billboard Hot 100, dramatically outperformed on the chart by the softer ballads that followed. Guitar World called it, in 2008, the best song that Led Zeppelin never wrote. Written by David Coverdale and guitarist John Sykes, the track runs approximately 6 minutes and 37 seconds of relentless, riff-driven hard rock. On the European edition of the album, titled 1987, it served as the thundering opener, while Here I Go Again became the face of Whitesnake that year. Still of the Night was always the soul. Number 11, Kiss of Death by Dokken. Running 5 minutes and 51 seconds, it opened Back for the Attack, Dokken's best-selling album, certified platinum by the RIAA in January 1988. Most people only remembered Dokken for softer tracks like In My Dreams, completely missing the ferocious opener. George Lynch was firmly in the top tier of metal guitarists by this point, and his riffs and solos dominate the track from the very first second. The recording sessions were famously fractured, with Don Dokken and George Lynch barely in the same room. Don recorded his vocals in Los Angeles, while Lynch, Pilson, and Brown tracked their parts in Phoenix, their mutual animosity well documented by both parties. Back for the Attack peaked at number 13 on the Billboard 200 and spent 33 weeks on the chart, and Kiss of Death led the whole charge from note 1. Number 10, Girls, Girls, Girls by Mötley Crüe. Tom Werman sat behind the boards for one of the greasiest, most throttling albums of the decade. Mötley Crüe arrived in May 1987 stripped of the glittery shout at the Devil's Sheen, trading it for biker bars, Harley Davidsons, and something far rawer. The title track was the sound of a band tapping into something genuinely dangerous, and most casual fans completely forgot just how hard it actually rocks. The album reached number 2 on the Billboard 200, and the title track climbed to number 12 on the Hot 100. But the song never got its due as the grinding hard rock monster it actually is. Bands like Faster Pussycat and Four Horsemen drew directly from this exact blueprint. The song still sounds like Trouble on Wheels nearly 4 decades later, which is exactly the point. Number 9, Crazy Crazy Nights by Kiss. The glam rockers had their biggest UK hit to date with the title track of their 14th studio album, giving the band a commercial foothold. In Britain, that had eluded them for years. After dropping the makeup in 1983, Kiss had spent years searching for a new identity. Crazy Crazy Nights was the moment they finally found the formula, built on enormous gang vocals, punishing rhythm guitar, and pure arena-sized swagger. The single hit number 4 on the UK singles chart, their highest UK placement in years, yet it stalled well short of that in the United States. The album itself reached number 18 on the Billboard 200, a solid return for a band most had already written off. Acts like Slaughter and Nelson directly inherited the melodic hard rock DNA that Kiss perfected right here in 1987. Before we go any further, which of these songs hit you hardest right now? Were you spinning these albums in 1987, or are you just discovering them for the first time? Drop a comment and let us know where you are watching from. Number 8. I Am the Law by Anthrax. With Metallica, Megadeth, and Slayer all releasing landmark records in 1986, the pressure on Anthrax to deliver in 1987 was immense. Among the Living arrived in March of that year and immediately rewrote the rulebook for what thrash metal could sound like in the hands of a truly great band. It remains one of the most complete and devastating records the genre has ever produced. I Am the Law was one of several iconic tracks on the record, alongside Indians and Caught in a Mosh, with the furious guitar work of Dan Spitz and Scott Ian, alongside Joey Belladonna's powerful vocals, making every moment unforgettable. The single entered the UK charts, a remarkable achievement for a pure thrash metal track at the time. Metallica and Megadeth got more column inches in 1987, but Anthrax arguably delivered the tightest album of the three. Number 7. Over the Wall by Testament. In 1983, a group of teenagers from the Berkeley and Oakland area of California formed a band called Legacy. 4 years of grinding, demo trading, and lineup reshaping later, they emerged as Testament and released one of the most underrated debut albums in all of heavy metal. Nobody outside the tape-trading underground was fully ready for what the Legacy contained. Over the Wall opens the album at full velocity, a neck-snapping thrash missile driven by Alex Skolnick's ferocious lead guitar and Chuck Billy's commanding vocal attack. Produced by Alex Perialis, who had also worked with Anthrax, the record showed a band playing with total conviction from the very first second. While Whitesnake and Guns N' Roses were dominating the rock conversation in 1987, Testament quietly dropped one of the year's most devastating metal records, and almost nobody noticed. Number 6. Raising Fear by Armored Saint. "23 years old and already 3 albums deep, John Bush had quietly become one of the most underrated rock vocalists in Los Angeles. Armored Saint operated in the same sun-baked LA scene as Wasp and Rat, but always carried a heavier, more muscular edge that set them apart from the glittery pack. By 1987, Chrysalis Records had given them the budget to finally capture that power on tape. The album Raising Fear, released in 1987, featured some of the tightest riff-driven hard rock the Los Angeles scene produced all year, with the title track serving as the absolute centerpiece. John Bush would later replace Joey Belladonna in Anthrax, bringing that same commanding authority to a far bigger stage. But in 1987, Armored Saint were doing something this heavy largely without an audience, and it remains one of the era's great criminally overlooked records. Before we count down the final 5, which of these songs is the biggest surprise on the list for you? Have you heard every one of these, or did a few catch you completely off guard? Leave a comment below. Number 5. Permanent Vacation by Aerosmith. 3 consecutive platinum albums in the early 1980s. Then substance abuse, broken relationships, and near-total commercial collapse. By 1987, most of the industry had quietly moved on from Aerosmith. Then producer Bruce Fairbairn walked into the room, and everything changed. Released in August 1987 on Geffen Records, Permanent Vacation reached number 11 on the Billboard 200 and eventually sold over 5 million copies in the United States. Dude Looks Like a Lady, Angel, and Ragdoll all became hits. But the driving, riff-heavy title track was the honest statement of a band rediscovering exactly what they were capable of. Steven Tyler and Joe Perry were clean, hungry, and sounding sharper than they had in a decade. Bands like Extreme and Mr. Big carried the melodic hard rock torch that Aerosmith reignited right here. Number 4. Dream Evil by Dio. Craig Goldie had replaced Vivian Campbell under difficult circumstances, and the band entered the studio at the start of 1987 to record what would become one of their most underappreciated records. New to the band and with enormous shoes to fill, Goldie had everything to prove alongside one of heavy metal's most commanding vocalists. What emerged was a record of surprising depth and fire. Dream Evil, released on July 21, 1987, charted on the Billboard 200 and gave Dio a solid commercial foothold in a year dominated by glossier acts. The riff-driven title track opens the record like a declaration. Goldie's guitar locked into one of the most underrated metal grooves of the entire decade. While earlier, Dio anthems like Holy Diver and Rainbow in the Dark have never left the classic rock conversation, Dream Evil sits almost completely forgotten. That is a significant injustice to one of heavy metal's most gifted songwriters. Number 3. The Calling by Leatherwolf. Island Records did not sign many metal bands in 1987. When they signed Leatherwolf and Orange County Quintet, they were making a genuine statement. The band featured vocalist and guitarist Michael Olivieri alongside lead guitarists Kerry Howe and Jeff Gayer, a triple axe attack genuinely unique in the genre, creating thick, layered walls of sound that no other band on the scene could replicate. The self-titled album, released in 1987, showcased that concept at its absolute peak on The Calling. A melodic yet ferocious hard rock track built around 3 interlocking guitar lines weaving together with astonishing precision. The album sold respectably, but never broke through to mainstream recognition. Leatherwolf toured relentlessly, opening for larger acts across the United States. But by the time grunge arrived, they had dissolved almost completely without trace. The Calling deserved far better than that fate. Number 2. Electric by The Cult. Before producer Rick Rubin stripped everything down to its barest, most brutal form, The Cult were a British post-punk outfit that formed in Bradford with a dark, atmospheric sound. The transformation that happened in the sessions for Electric was genuinely shocking to anyone who had followed them since their Southern Death Cult days. Songs like Love Removal, Machine, and Lil Devil announced something entirely new. Released in April 1987, Electric saw Ian Astbury and Billy Duffy craft a record of lean, riff-first hard rock that owed everything to the raw power of early AC/DC and absolutely nothing to the polished gloss of Sunset Strip hair metal. The title track hits like a thunderclap, all distorted crunch and locked-in momentum, with no studio gloss softening the blow. The album became a touchstone for the harder-edged alternative rock that followed in its wake. Yet the title track itself has been largely forgotten by everyone else. Number 1. Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. Geffen Records signed the band in 1986 after a legendary demo tape circulated the Sunset Strip, and Appetite for Destruction arrived on July 21, 1987, produced by Mike Klink. Most people forget that when Welcome to the Jungle was first released as a single that fall, it stalled almost immediately. The album itself barely moved for months, sitting quietly while flashier records grabbed the spotlight. What followed was one of the greatest slow burns in rock history. Appetite for Destruction eventually sold over 30 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best-selling debut albums ever recorded. Axl Rose, Slash, Duff McKagan, Izzy Stradlin, and Steven Adler were virtually unknown when this song first aired. Within 2 years, they were the biggest rock band on the planet. Welcome to the Jungle did not start as a phenomenon. It became one, slowly, relentlessly, and completely on its own terms.